Let's get some analysis. I'm joined by Sky News aviation expert Captain Byron Bailey. Byron, you've been looking at the flight path of the helicopter. Tell us what you've found in regards to the altitude of the helicopter.
Okay, there's a frequent helicopter traffic from the north to pass through that whole area, past the airfields, to a military base in south, and they fly a route along the river below 200 feet. The maximum permitted altitude is 200 feet, and it's a visual flight at night. We watched the readouts from the radar, and about 30 seconds before the impact, they were actually at 200 feet, and then shortly after, the chopper was at 300 feet. By chopper, I mean helicopter. And just before the collision, where the airliner is turning, he's on short final at 400 feet, about a mile or so from the runway, and the pilots would have been just concentrating on the landing straight ahead and wouldn't have even been aware of the chopper. The chopper actually rose to 350 feet, and that was the last indication before the collision. The helicopter at 350 feet, and he shouldn't have been there. He should have been at 200, and the airliner at 400 feet. So they won't need the black boxes to work this one out. This is cut and dried, really. The military guy shouldn't have been that high.
So speculation as to why he was above that permitted altitude. Should that have been picked up by the air traffic control, Byron?
Yeah, but the air traffic controller was so under pressure from working different frequencies that, he may not have realised in time that the helicopter was actually climbing above his mandated maximum altitude. It's a close-run thing. I can't really blame the air traffic controller because he's handling so many airplanes and different frequencies, and situational awareness in a situation like that is very difficult. So, yeah. I flew into Paris.
You're an experienced pilot yourself. Is there anything that the commercial jet captain could have done to avoid this collision?
Well, no, because he wouldn't have been aware of the helicopter coming in on his right side. At 400 feet on final, you're in the final stages of touchdown. You're on a stable approach. You're concentrating on your speed, your glide path on center line, being spooled up with gear and flap and everything done. So you'd be just looking ahead at the runway, and you're not looking out to the right, to the side, especially since they hadn't been advised of the presence of the helicopters. Situational awareness in this situation, I flew into Paris at night, and all the airline traffic, French airline traffic, was talking in French to the controller, and I was the only one talking English, and I was totally, utterly situationally unaware of what was going on with the other aircraft around me, and this was that kind of situation, I guess.
What sort of warning, if any, would the pilot of the plane had that the helicopter was that close? For example, would there have been an aircraft proximity warning that might have sounded?
Well, I get this problem all the time, even just a few days ago flying a private jet into Bankstown. The TCAS system below 1,000 feet won't give you instructions to climb, descend or avoiding, but if you're looking at your navigation display, you can see all the symbols representing their diamonds, and they're representing the proximity traffic, as it's called. But it won't give you a full-blown red resolutionary advisory of climb or descend below 1,000 feet, because that would be dangerous if you were commanded to descend below 1,000. So the pilots got their nav display. It would be showing a whole heap of traffic, but they're concentrating at 400 feet on flying the final approach, and they're probably unaware that the chopper was getting so close. Yeah, can't fault them, and I just feel so sorry for the air traffic controller. He was put in a really invidious position.
Well, yes, the air traffic control tower was understaffed at Ronald Reagan National, according to the Federal Aviation Administration safety report. So with the controller guiding helicopters and planes, is that level of understaffing regular?
I don't really know. I think everywhere we have in aviation, there's a shortage of pilots and shortage of air traffic controllers. But the situation in this case was the long runway, which is where the airliner did the initial approach on, and then they were asked to sidestep right to land on 3-3 to free up the long runway for a departure. So the poor guy, the air traffic controller, he was working like crazy. And, I feel really sorry for him. I was briefly an air traffic controller myself a long, long time ago, and I just found it was too hard and went back flying.
Fair enough. Well, thank you for your analysis. Sky News aviation expert, Captain Byron Bailey. Appreciate it. Talk to you soon.